Fitin10 Nation, it is day 13 of the spring 2020 edition of Fitin10, and I am going to get right to your questions. But before I do, announcement: the ISO bars are on their way. For those of you who are waiting for ISO bars, they're basically a protein bar made with all whole food ingredients that I sell. They are. I missed their delivery this morning, so they're here. I just have to, track them down. So they're here. I'll let you know as soon as I get them. I'll do a little video on them in the next couple days, okay? But for those of you who know what they are and want them, they should be here. They are here. I just got to get them, okay? All right. Somebody asked me about calorie count for salmon. All right. So, first let me just say that you've got to look at whether it's cooked or uncooked, and sometimes it won't say. So you may have to do a little bit of research to look this up. You might be able to find it. The problem with something like salmon is there's different kinds, and the different kinds are have different fat levels. All right, so if you look at I think it's the Chinook salmon that Costco carries, and it's the non-wild, it's the farmed. It's super fatty, so but I would not suggest getting that one. I'd try to go with something that's more wild. I buy the other one. It's kind of like in those, if you go to Costco, you might have seen it before. It's the wild sockeye salmon. It's not frozen. I don't think it's previously frozen. I think it's just it's fresh, I guess. It's in that plastic sort of wrap. Anyways, it's wild sockeye. All right. So what I would do is I'd open up my FitnessPal and I would type in, go to add the food, and I type in sockeye salmon. And if you do that, you're going to get this at the top, sockeye salmon. It's also got the little green box with the check mark, the white check mark inside. And so you can just choose that one. Now the question is, when you pick that one, is it cooked or uncooked? So this is for 3 ounces, and when I'm looking at it, it's 24 grams of protein. So I know that's cooked. Because salmon, now this is just from my own knowledge, of course, you don't know by looking at the title of this, but salmon is not that protein dense. It's not 8 grams of protein per ounce raw. I know that for sure. But cooked, yeah, that seems more realistic. So that's what I would choose. So I don't know if this is your problem. You're not sure about what to pick. I know you said calorie count, so let's just, I guess, address that. But I feel like you might mean something more specific, or maybe you didn't word your question exactly the way you wanted it to be worded. In terms of finding your calorie count, you just gotta put in the amount here. So the default is 3 ounces. All right, I actually happen to have 6 ounces this morning, so I'm just gonna actually go down, open up that box, and I'm gonna choose, let's just say it was 7 ounces, okay, make it a little bit harder. So I'm just gonna choose the 1 ounce. So the 1 ounce way of, in terms of serving size. And then you can change the number of servings. So I chose a 1 ounce serving, and I'm gonna change that to 7 servings, because I had 7, I had 7 ounces, right? So 7 1 ounce servings. So I choose that. All right, so there we go. I've got my calories at the top, and I've got my macros. You see that? Okay, and all I have to do is, hit the little checkbox at the top over on this side here. So I'm gonna hit that little checkbox, and now it's in my dinner, okay? So that's it. So 467 calories in that salmon, 23 grams of fat, 56 grams of protein, 0 carbs. Okay, I hope that answers your question. Yeah, like I said, sometimes it takes a little bit of digging around. Once you have, I don't know if you guys are creatures of habit. I am. There's maybe a total of 20 or 25 foods that I eat pretty much every day. I don't eat 25 foods per day, but they kind of, throughout the week, I'll switch foods around a little bit. But of those 25, I might eat say 9 or 10 through the day. So I'm always switching them up a little bit. But my point is that they're all in a list because I enter them regularly. So it's really not a problem. So if you're constantly switching up your foods, yeah, it's going to require a little more work. Okay, but once you've had that food, it's saved in your list, right? That will make it much easier. You don't have to go in and search for it. Okay? All right, kind of went off on that one, but I thought maybe you should know if you don't already know. All right, one more question here. Can you explain how you reached our macro numbers and how we'll know in the future the numbers we should reach on our own? Okay, this is a big question. Okay, I'm not going to answer all this question right now. I will get back to this maybe in tomorrow's video. So let's start with the first part. Can you explain how you reached our macro numbers? Yes. Your macros are largely based off of the amount of exercise you're going to do plus your BMR, okay? BMR is huge in this because BMR makes up pretty much on average about 75% of the calories that you burn per day, okay? And I know your BMR because the machine gives it to me. The way the machine gets it is it looks at your total lean body mass and it uses that in a calculation. It's a standard calculation. I'm trying to remember the name of it. It's two guys' last names. And I can't remember, so I'll look that up, okay? But it's just a standard BMR formula, and it's fairly accurate. Yes, people can, differ a little bit for sure, but it's a very reasonable estimate, okay? So I use that calculation, and then also I consider the amount of exercise you're doing. That's how I come to that number, okay? And how we'll know in the future which numbers we should reach in our own. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna answer that question tomorrow, okay? Because that's a big question, and I feel like that's a bit advanced. All right, let's get the message of the day. Some action is better than none. So certainly some is better than none. More action is better than some, but ultimately full action is best. All right, so if you can't be perfect, don't harp on it. Do some of it. But just know that some will not obviously equal the full amount, right? But this can be, because I know a lot of you are dealing with this, this can be baby steps. The key is to try to set some sort of baseline, some sort of benchmark that you can meet every day and build upon that, okay? If you can't do everything all at once. So try to improve on things. Set some standards every day and then try to get closer to those standards. Okay, or try to meet those little standards that you're setting out for yourself for each day. Okay? Don't try to force it on yourself if it's too uncomfortable, if it's too much for you. But if you can do it, do it. Okay? And I think a lot of you can do most of it. All right? I know some of you are battling with the amount of protein just because it's so satiating. The interesting thing that I find with people though is, and I'm not singling out anybody here, but I'm going to say that there are people that they can't eat their protein, but they can eat, more carbs or more fat. So it's like, they'll go over their carbs and fat. It's like, okay, well, don't do that and then try to eat more protein, all right? But this is the standard thing. Carbohydrates are very easy. They turn on, hormones that are going to make us hungrier, and they're just not satiating, all right? So like you can look at calorically how many calories. You can look at how many calories you can eat of carbohydrates versus how many calories of protein you can eat, right? And your carbohydrate calories can be way up there, while your protein calories are really hard because it's a very satiating food. It's hard to eat it. So that's part of the reason. It's one of the many reasons, like I've explained in past videos, why I have you have as much protein as I do, okay? Bit of a tangent here, but I know you guys are dealing with this. So just remember, some is better than none, more is better than some, but ultimately, doing it all is the best, right? That's where you're gonna see the most results. All right, that's it. Day 13 in the books, day 14 tomorrow. Tomorrow's gonna be actually 1/5 into the challenge, if you can believe that, right? And then next week, we're going to do the scans again, right? We're gonna do our second round of scans. All right, so that is all. Submit, commit, positive energy, positive vibes. Give some gratitude, and for the love of God, believe in yourself. You have no good reason not to believe in yourself. You really don't. Give some gratitude, and you'll feel better. And if you feel better, you just might be more accomplished for the day, all right? Guys, we'll talk to y'all very soon. Have a wonderful night. And next week we're going to start a small amount of in the gym classes. All right, socially distanced. I don't want to use that word, physically distanced classes. I will talk more about that very soon. See you. Emails coming out on that, by the way. See ya.